Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot. Oh my! It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Psychic medium Helene Olsen and paranormal researcher Patricia Baker. Here are Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls. I am your host, Patricia Baker, and I am here with my fabulous co-host, none other than world-famous psychic, medium, and otherwise extremely talented friend of mine, Helene Olsen. Hi, Helene. How are you tonight?
Wow, what an intro. That was
I know, you've got to live up to it now.
No, that's not possible. Just not possible. No. But I got to say, I'm sorry to mention the weather, but you know it's one of my favorite topics here.
Oh, we got to talk about the weather.
You know, listen, we're not in Buffalo, okay? So
Thank
no
God.
matter how cold it is, I'll take it.
Yes. Yes, we can live with the cold, but that 5 inches an hour we can do without with that snow. What do they have, 70 inches up there already with more on the way?
Some places do, yeah. Some have like 77 inches, I heard, but they're getting another 2 feet tomorrow, so I've been sending a lot of light, and I don't know, hoping the people survive that. It's crazy. Yeah.
It is crazy. Oh, my goodness. And I'm so glad that we are here in Massachusetts. And we don't have any.
Other than the blizzard of 78, I don't think we've ever gotten hammered like that, right?
I don't think so. And if we did, I must have blocked it out of my mind because I don't want to remember that.
Me too, yeah. I don't think so. I think the blizzard of 78 was that big one. Some places got 5 feet or something like that. But this is pretty on a massive scale. I don't know.
This is on a massive scale. And, you know, I keep telling my husband, look, don't be worried about living in New England because eventually we're going to go tropical. That's what I think is going to happen. Poles are going to shift, and, you know, I can just see looking out my window, oceanfront property.
They say that
may
happen
tropical
in the future.
Breeze. Yeah. So who knows? Anything can happen. It's a crazy world.
But we had roses in November, so I don't know what that was about.
I still have roses.
People do.
I love it. I love wild things like that. This is when things are strange, you know. Things are weird and strange. I really like it.
It felt very energetic to me. I don't know. But,
hey, good stuff. Yeah.
It is. So, hoping it's a sign for a decent winter, but who knows with what's going on in Buffalo. I'll never know. I don't have the answer to the weather questions, that's for sure.
Yeah, me neither, but we just got to roll with it, I think. So.
Well, I asked my husband once, why is it men just sit and watch the Weather Channel? I've never understood that, right? You know what he said the answer was?
What?
It's the only thing on television that predicts the future.
Hey, that's very insightful of ours.
And I'm not sure they're that good at it either, so I don't know.
But it does give you that sense that somebody knows what's coming up. You know, somebody knows what's going to happen.
I suppose it does, yeah. Yeah.
I love his answer. That's a good one.
It was, yeah.
Well, we've got quite a show tonight. This is big
stuff.
Say.
Yeah.
We have.
It is. I love it.
Oh, my God. And this is your thing, too, Helene. I mean, I turn to you when it comes to channeling.
Well,
and we have something excellent that's about to happen on the show. So we have Adrienne Metcalf and her husband, Josh Schwartzbach, and he channels SOTU, Soul of the Universe. That's what we're going to be doing tonight, is talking to the soul of the universe.
Yeah, I get them as a cosmic collective intelligence. I don't know if I'm right about that. Josh will tell me, but more than like being a defined entity.
Mhm.
Sort of like Esther Hicks channels Abraham, which is a group. And I've talked to a couple of groups over the years, but I don't stick with them or talk to them very often, and that's what it felt like to me. And so maybe he can set me straight on that. But
yeah, we got a lot of questions tonight. We really do. We have a lot of questions for Adrienne and Josh, and so too. We've got questions galore, so it's going to be a very exciting show. And of course, we also have Patricia Kirkman, our numerologist, who is going to tell us.
I love Patricia. She's awesome.
You know what? We're going to kidnap her, or we're going to bring her to Massachusetts.
She doesn't want to come here now.
No, probably not. But you know what? I want to hear anyways, so we got to get her here. She belongs with the Supernatural Sisters here, so that's where she belongs. So hi, Patricia. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous. I just love this weather going on in this country. Not. It's even cold here.
Really?
Is it really?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a snap. I woke up this morning, looked at the back patio, and it was 40, and I went, I don't think so.
40.
But it warmed up
like
beautifully this
morning. We prayed for 40 today.
Yeah.
It is just crazy everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tucson, that 40 degrees is cold for you guys.
Oh, yes, definitely that.
Do the cacti wither in 40?
Pardon me?
Do the cacti wither up in 40?
No, they do not. They just they have all their juices inside. They just keep themselves plump.
They hibernate.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
They do really well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so unusual for us to be this cool this early.
Mm.
Yes, we know.
It's going to be one of those years, I'm afraid.
Yeah, well, you were predicting before that it was going to be one of extremes, and that has been what's occurring so far. So tell us, what's in store for us tomorrow? Tomorrow's the day of it's the 20th. What's going to happen? What do we got going on?
It's really good from the standpoint that it's very friendly. It's about partnerships, good for leading and for associations in partnerships. But it is also we always look at numbers, we reduce them to a single number. So we look at the 20, which is getting out there and about and really doing the partnership thing to the nth degree and being leaders of associations. But when we look at it as the two makes us somewhat moody. They can be very deep, very strong inner drive for friends and families and married because they feel they need that protection. They're looking for that extra coat of arms around them, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And two, as a challenge, they're not very fortunate because they don't mature as fast as others. They tend to be a little emotional. But two is also water and natural element, so it represents feelings of emotions, and a lot of the material side gets caught up in it. So it has a little bit of a spin because we're still, regardless of what the date is tomorrow, we are in a 9-month of ending old things. So it doesn't play as softly as it would at other times because the 9 says, let's get on with it, get the stuff off the table that has to be done, and work on the bottom line. The 2s are the peacemakers and the arbitrators, and the 9 wants to be there for everybody else, but there's this tug of war going on, and because we're in Scorpio.
Oh.
So we've got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We've got some balls in the air, and you don't know whether to catch them or just watch them drop. I'm counting on dropping some.
It sounds like it's going to be an interesting day. So you've also been looking at biblical names and the numerology around certain names. What did you discover this week?
Well, I find very interesting because, of course, we have our first name, our middle name, and our last name. When we go back to the biblical times, we have the first name, or they were the son of or the daughter of. So it is basically the first name that we use for everything. And since we don't have the birthdays to take a look at, but it's very interesting when we take a look at I take a look at God and I break it down. It's a 17-8 number. It is there to be the leader. and that first letter is a 7, which is about high spirituality. The middle letter is a 6, which is about family, and the last is D is a 4, which is about the details and the 4 corners of all aspects of things. So it's about putting it together so we can all learn from it. We always look at the first vowel, first consonant as something, and it is about the work we put into everything is what we will receive as we pray to God. We're offering, and that's where the work comes in, our share of it.
How interesting.
Yep. But we had
just
taken
in
a
those
look.
3 letters, you've come up with so much energy and power in those 3 letters. Wow.
Well, and the Ezekiel, I took a look at that. And Ezekiel is all about me, my, and I. I will lead, regardless of what others say. I'm there to be in charge and take control of, but I will do all the work to make it happen, which I found very interesting.
That
because
is interesting.
I had thought about breaking down the biblical names up until we started talking about this. And Seth is a 16-7. It's wanting things to be perfect, looking for things, to being a leader, but making it perfect as it goes. But 7 is always the teacher and the student throughout all life. But it has a energetic aspect of it where it's almost magical at times.
Wow. So that's an interesting one. And Jane Roberts was the channel for a group of entities or one entity named, called themselves Seth. So that's an interesting one.
And the name of the show tonight, which we're channeling, is SOTU, which represents 3, which is all about communication. It is also about being a teacher and a student, learning, going forward. It has a masculine spin to it. It has a great need to communicate in all aspects of things. So I thought that was interesting, too.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it really is.
It surprised me because I never thought about breaking down the biblical names because I'm always used to doing the first, the middle, and the last. And our first name actually is ourself, how we're perceived, how we see things. It's where we live, where we work, what we do. So it would stand to reason that even in biblical times, that's exactly what it was.
Interesting.
Where they were coming from and what they were doing. And as I said, it was always the son of David or etc.
Yes.
That made an impact on it, but the name itself was the key. So I found something new to take a look at.
Gosh, this is fascinating. And my goodness, I think you hit the SOTU energy right on the head. That sounds very much right on. We're going to hear from Josh and Adrienne in just a minute, but this is very fascinating, Patricia. Thank you so much for taking a look at that this week. And again, we're on to another very exciting show here. Great information from you, Patricia. Thank you. And I know
welcome.
You'll be back next week. Well, actually, next week, guess what? It's Thanksgiving. We're going to be taking the week off.
Woohoo! I didn't know.
Yeah, so we will have a repeat of one of our fabulous shows. And so you won't have dead air here. You will have a show, but it's one we've already taped before. And so in 2 weeks, Patricia, you'll be back with new information for all of our
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And can't wait to hear the rest of the show.
Yes, so stay tuned. Here we go. Thanks again.
Bye-bye. Enjoy.
Good night, Patricia.
Good night, dear.
Excuse me, I got a little froggy in my throat. So, along with my froggy in my throat, we're going to be introducing our guests next. We have Adrienne Metcalf and her husband, Josh Schwartzbach, who is the channeler for SOTU. Hey, guys, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Patricia. Hello, Helene. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Great. Yeah, thank you for coming on the show. This is so exciting to have you here with us.
It's exciting for us as well.
Oh, good. Well, I have to tell you that right before we got on the air, I felt this enormous energy kind of move in. And, Helene, I don't know, you probably felt the same, because usually when we do have guests like you guys on. The energy is so big, and it comes in, and you just can't ignore it. So this is a huge energy that you channel. And Adrienne, I do want to mention that you channel also, but it's a different style and a different purpose than what your husband is doing. But you very much are involved with the channeling of SOTU. So you guys have been doing this for 10 years, is it?
Closer to 20, over 20?
Over 20, oh my goodness, okay.
It's been a long and interesting journey.
It sounds like it. Now, when was the first time that SOTU actually showed up? I mean, what happened? Did you feel an enormous energy start to come through? How did this happen?
Well, originally it was Ezekiel, an energy that called themselves Ezekiel. And they came through in a way, much as you described the energy that you felt in the studio, right, or wherever you are, right before you began. They were a huge energy. Adrienne basically said that they filled the room that we were in, and they had a hard time communicating at first because they really had to step their energy down to be able to communicate. So it was that was 93 or 4,
something like that, early 90s.
So this has been a long journey, my goodness.
Yeah, they've given us Ezekiel first, and then SOTU came through, and right before the State of the Union address in 2003, which, you know, they have quite the sense of humor. So that's when they first came through. Ezekiel basically gave us a tremendous amount of information and worked with us around the personal dynamics. And then at a certain point, they began to speak more about the dynamic of another energy coming in. And in fact, I handed the Ezekiel energy off to another person out in Ohio, and I believe they're actually still channeling that aspect. But SOTU came through, and they gave us a really good picture on who we are and how it all works. And why we are where we are and what we're doing.
So before we get into that, could I ask you, what does it feel like for you when you are channeling? Do you go somewhere? Do you fall asleep and just let them come through? How does this happen?
Well, at this point in time, it's very easy. You know, the channel is, I could bring them through in less than 10 seconds. When we first started to do it, they put me in a soundproof room.
Soundproof room. Wow.
In a soundproof room. That was the exercise, and that was the dynamic. I had to imagine myself sitting in a soundproof room, and they would come down a flight of stairs, open a door behind me, and enter my consciousness. And at that point in time, I was remembering everything. I was seeing everything, and if you know me, you know I have very strong opinions about most everything. So I tended to get in the way of that. And part of being a clear channel is being able to remove your personality from the process as much as possible. So after 20 years, I've gotten really good at it, and the information that comes through is always interesting, and I can never anticipate what it's going to be.
That's exciting. So, and now you have a book out, What Could God Be Thinking? The book is available on Amazon.com. It's a wonderful book. Both Helene and I have read the book. Very interesting. And it left me wanting more, so I hope you have book 2 planned.
Well, I have a lot of things planned. We have a lot of things planned. We have been farming for the past 4 years. We basically went into semi-retirement for 4 years in order to get our personal infrastructure together because the truth is that we thought it was all going to come crashing down, and we still do believe that. So we're pretty much prepared for any eventuality at this point in time, and it's been a dynamic of being able to be away from the whole dynamic of the public for 4 years in order to remember who I was, because I was beginning to be the channel, and I was beginning to lose Josh.
Ooh.
And so, well, you know, you go through different dynamics, different stages of growth, and so at this point in time, I think we're both feeling very peaceful, and feeling that we can translate the information into a form that people can actually begin to understand it and utilize it in their daily lives.
That's so valuable, because I know there's a lot of esoteric information out there, but if you can't take it in and digest it and make it work in your life, then it's just a mental exercise.
Well, and that's the point. And that's exactly the point, isn't it? There's so much stuff out there that's what I like to call light shadow. It basically deals with only the positive, only the good, and it completely negates the whole other side of the dynamic, which we all hold as personal and interpersonal emotional dynamics. And so the one magical thing that SOTU and Ezekiel have done is give us an understanding of how we create through our emotions.
And that's so important. I got to tell you a funny question that somebody just wrote in the chat room. They'd like to know that when the apocalypse happens, can they come and live with you guys?
Only if they're willing to work.
Right. A farm takes work. That's right.
That's right. The farm takes
a lot
of work.
You guys have an absolutely lovely, lovely place, and you have so many beautiful little chickens running around and crops that you tend to and all of that. And you also have a website. I want to make sure we announce this to people so they can find you on the Internet. So if you could please just give your website out to everybody.
Sure. It's peacegenesisproject.org. PEACE, Genesis, as in the Bible, project.org.
That's great. And you offer private readings also. So you have done groups, but you also do private readings. So if people are interested, they can email you.
Yes, they can. And I'll actually even give out my private email.
Oh, my God. Okay. Go ahead. Be bold.
And that way that if somebody is seriously interested, they can contact me, and because I don't take everybody.
Okay.
It's not. SOTU is a very serious energy in the sense of if you ask them a question, they will give you the answer, and the answer usually lies at the bottom of your emotional dynamic. Not often a comfortable place to go.
Yeah, so, you're right. It isn't, but it's an important place to go if you want to get free of these patterns.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. But I have had, I've done thousands of readings over the years now, so it's gotten to the point where there's a lot of folks that just like to experience the energy for about an hour or so, but we really are on a mission. And our mission is to try to create peace in the midst of all of this chaos.
And there's a lot of it lately, that's for sure.
And it's going to get worse.
Okay, well, we can't wait to hear about that.
Oh, joy, oh, joy.
Excuse me.
But we really do have found ways, and have worked with SOTU and Ezekiel to find ways, create ways, and hundreds of other people. We've done lots of workshops, and it's through their emotional diligence to be willing to go into these areas, and with the amount of chaos and change that's going on in the energetics, I actually think it can be easier for people to get to the bottom of stuff and move it, because they're really seeing that it doesn't work anymore. They're recognizing they have patterns and that they don't work, and they're really ready to move on. The urge to become more is palpable. Not necessarily comfortable, but clearly there.
Yes, it is. And as we discussed just recently, there are a lot of people who are working hard on their thinking, not letting their mind run away and like a crazed monkey. And that's a good thing, but at the same time, as you have brought up, there's these emotional patterns that keep running in the same loop, and they keep us bound. So even though you may have watched The Secret, you may have tried to embody some of the teachings or all of them, you still may be frustrated because you're still being bound by old emotional patterns.
Right, and old pieces of self. If we understand that, if we understand that we are often reacting to dynamics that were patterns that we developed in our childhoods and our adolescence, and we're just constantly replaying those dynamics.
Yes, and that's a very frustrating thing.
Yeah, but believe it or not, that's the language of soul. It's soul's responsibility to give us those opportunities to move and grow.
And we certainly all have them, don't we? So
yes, we do. That's the journey, isn't it? The journey is growth.
It is alchemical. There's no question about it. And I know people are hungry to hear from you guys tonight and from SOTU, because I know people don't like feeling stuck. People really don't like it. They've become uncomfortable to the point where they really do want to embrace a new life, a new change, a new way of being. And so hearing from you tonight is I think, going to be very helpful to everybody.
Well, I hope so.
Now, I do have a question that we may need to also ask. Well, I'm going to ask you guys, but maybe we should also bring this into SOTU, because I know in a little while you're going to step aside and let SOTU speak to us, which we greatly appreciate. But one of the things that has always concerned me, because I know that the emotional programming that we can get to, that we have words for, we can work through those things with diligence, with help, with whatever techniques you want to use. Those can be, we can get the better of them. We can understand them. We can let them go. But what about the patterns, the emotional patterns that grab hold of us when we are in the womb? Because there's been studies done that, parents who are thinking about aborting their children or whatever, these kids are born with emotional issues. And these are all pre-verbal emotional issues, which is a huge challenge.
Sure. You should probably talk to SOTU about this, simply because they'll talk about a dynamic that's pre-incarnation. And, I can tell you about it, but they're a lot more interesting.
All righty. Well, how about this? How about if we just take a very short commercial break, and stay tuned, everybody. We're going to be right back, and we're going to be listening and speaking with SOTU. Now, if you've got a question for SOTU, please call in at 646-478-0828. Again, that number is 646-478-0828. We'll get you on the air, and you can ask your question. And you can also join in the chat room and write down your question there, and I'll ask it for you, or you can tweet us your question. And either way, we'll get your messages and be happy to convey them. So, everybody, stay tuned for the next exciting segment of this show. Hang on to your seats, everybody. We'll be right back.
This is Veronique Raskin, founder of the Organic Wine Company. As one of the pioneers of the organic wine movement, since 1980 I have brought you the very best and most authentic organic wines directly to your table. I work with small family estates who grow certified organic grapes and produce exceptional wines. You can purchase our wines individually from our website at theorganicwinecompany.com or join one of our wine clubs. Our organic wines are perfect for you and for your family as gifts for friends and relatives, and they are simply spectacular for the holidays. Visit us at theorganicwinecompany.com to enjoy the very best organic wines conveniently delivered to your door. I am Veronique Raskin, passionate about my mission. I offer to you vegan, organic, and biodynamic wines, wines made by people of the heart, wines with a heart. Au revoir. Call us at 1-888-ECO-WINE.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the source. With Cosmic Fusion, the source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion, www.KOSMICfusion.com, to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Everyone, we have a very exciting show going on tonight. We have Adrienne Metcalf and her husband Josh Schwartzbach, and Josh is going to be channeling the group of entities by the name of SOTU, Soul of the Universe. So if you have a question, here's your opportunity to call in tonight or write it in the chat room. I'll be happy to ask it for you, or you can tweet it to us. The guest caller number is 646-478-0828. The number again is 646-478-0828. So, you guys, this is exciting. I'm just so excited because the energy is so enormous and so overwhelming.
Part
we
of
are
the problem
in the
is figuring out the questions that you're going to ask.
We have so
all right,
many
are you ready?
We're ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Here we go.
All righty, let's go. So now you're going to be channeling SOTU. So let's move into that.
Too late, he's gone. Hello, dear ones.
Hello.
Nice to be speaking with you. It's evening, is it not?
Yes, it is.
All right. Yes. Give us one moment. We are just a number of energies floating around here that we wish to connect with. All right. So, where would you like to explore with us this evening?
Well, let's start with what do you see happening for us here in New England? What's coming our way? We know there's a lot of earth changes possibly and other things. What do you see for us?
We see an ever-increasing motivation to change, an ever-increasing motivation to come together again in ways that you have not come together in many, many centuries, let us say. Earthly humanity has moved from a place of collective consciousness in its purest form, for that's who you were way back in the day, when you were just little primates. It was interesting. Well, you had no spoken language back then, and yet you communicated in a way that is more intimate than any type of spoken language, and that is what we call direct cognition. It was almost like a super telepathy. The problem with that dynamic was that there was no individual experience within that. And so because of that, just as every child moves and grows, you as a species moved and grew and began to enter the adolescence of your species, where you have moved to a place of, what shall we say, extreme individuation. And so right now, your reality is simply asking you, and it's going to keep asking you through the physical as well as through each of your personal dynamics, who is it that you are going to be? Who is it that you are going to be as a species, and who is it that you are going to be as individuals? And the universe is not going to stop until you answer that question. How's that for
Very interesting. Very interesting.
And again, the minute that we begin to speak to you about a possible or a probable dynamic, it changes things. And there are a lot of energies listening to shows like this that are paying attention to these sorts of dynamics.
So is the message to embrace change?
Oh, yes. Well, of course. What is the one constant thing in your reality? The only constant is change.
Yes.
So absolutely.
Kind of true.
let us just say this. It is like you were riding the crest of a wave of energy. Now, you are either going to get up on your surfboard and ride, or you're going to allow yourself to be tumbled by the wave. What's your choice?
I want a big surfboard. How about you, Helene?
That would help.
Yes. Helene, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if he could speak to my next spiritual path move, what direction I'm going in.
Well, you're here as a help. You're here as a window. You're here as an assurance. You are confused, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, you are. That's what we're sensing here. Dear one, all you really need to do is to trust yourself. Here's the dynamic. You're involved in a very, what we see as a very complicated, as opposed to complex, a very complicated situations. And complicated situations often have absolutely no solutions. So often it is important to be able to just step out of that dynamic in order to be able to, something's holding you back. Something is keeping you, and we think it's probably just you. Something is keeping you from making that step forward. Part of it is not claiming your own power completely.
Well, thank you for that message. It does resonate
but we
quite
don't
strongly.
like it here anymore.
No, that's not true. No, that's not true. I'll probably call you for a reading. How's that?
Well,
it makes
we're
perfect sense.
we're happy to delve into. There's only so far that we can go in a public arena.
Yes. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Very interesting answer to this question, Helene, that you just got. I like it. I felt the depth of it. Even though you've said you can't go into it deeply, the energy that you carry forth is deep, and it gives an answer that goes beyond the words. That's for sure.
Well, understand that we are in contact with your higher selves, so that allows us to cut through let's call it the stories that you tell yourself and the stories you tell others. So
we love our stories.
Well,
everybody loves their stories.
But it's natural. Please understand, we have incredible compassion for everything that is going on in your world. We have incredible compassion because the extremes of the polarities are so severe right now as to almost force you, and we use the collective you, into a situation where you are examining your deepest dynamics, your deepest fears, your deepest hopes at the same time. But so many in your world are, enraptured with the latest Dancing with the Stars, or have their face in their portable devices, to the point where you have lost that contact with each other. You have lost that empathy, that ability to, and we're not saying all of you, most of you that are listening to this show are probably in a position where you are not so much in that position, and yet you feel so powerless in the position that you are at. If you can just realize that you are the creators. One of the reasons that you are being controlled so much is your ability to create is incredible. And if you can just align your energies, you could change everything.
That is so true.
Yeah, and that's very encouraging. It is a question of power, feeling personally powerful or empowered versus feeling powerless. And you're right.
How about just this? How about just feeling good enough?
That would be nice.
You're good enough. You're good enough just the way you are. Please realize each and every one of you is a divine being manifested in a physical body.
And that is good enough.
Being manifested in a physical body.
That's what we are.
Each one of you find the divine within you. All you have to do is look. But there's so many fears in the way. I'm not good enough. God will judge me. We could go on and on.
That's for sure. There's a lot of fears that we could talk about, but we do have another question for you. Somebody has called in. This is Lori in Washington, and Lori has a question. Lori, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Do you have a question for SOTU?
Yes. I was wondering about the situation with my son. I'm wondering how he's feeling, and I'm wondering if he's ever going to talk to me again.
Well, dear one, this is much too personal a subject, we would think, to speak about in this dynamic. Ever is a very long time. Do you believe that you have done all that you can do to reinstate communication? Maybe ask, how old is this person? You please understand, we cannot read anyone except the person that we are actually speaking with.
Oh, he's 27.
He's 27 years old?
Yes.
All right. Is he in the military?
He was.
He
but
was.
He's not now.
Yeah, he's kind of fried, isn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah. Was he deployed?
No.
No?
No, not that I know of.
Well, dear one, it is very difficult to go into the dynamic. Are you willing to meet him halfway?
Yeah.
But you're willing to go too far.
Yeah.
All right. So, which means that you need to have, in other words, we're looking at the schism and we see energy. We see the energy. And in the energy of the schism, you have each gone to a somewhat polarized position. His position is, you have to understand, he's only 27 years old, which basically means he never learned discernment until he was 25. The human mind cannot mature enough to really understand discernment until you're 25 years old. Mm-hmm. So we would suggest to you over the next few years that probably his position will soften just through a dynamic of maturity. Mm-hmm. But we also sense that he is... something is deeply bothering him around having to do with his military service. All right, and we sense that you're just the target of that frustration. Does that make any sense to you?
Not really.
Not really?
Not really.
Well, again, we look at the dynamic through him, through you, and in a situation like this, the dynamic of the bigger question really is what effort are you willing to make, and, ultimately it's more along the lines of Arlene to kind of read these sorts of dynamics. We do not wish to disappoint you, but the dynamic would have to be that we would have to work with you much more personally to ascertain what really were the dynamics that caused the schism, because we can only see the energy. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes.
All right. We apologize for not being able to go more into detail.
That's okay.
Well, Lori, thank you for your call. And, again, feel free to contact Josh and Adrienne through their website, and we'll be announcing that again.
Let us give, because the channel neglected to do this, and he may, because he's going to be a space cadet when he comes back. Let us give you his email address.
Okay.
And it's EJA Magic, MAGIC, at Berkshire, BERKSHIRE, .net.
BERK?
BERKSHIRE.
Okay.
Okay. So anyone that wishes to contact the channel directly may do it through that email address.
At Berkshire.net. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your call, Lori.
Thank you.
Well, we are sorry that we cannot go this deeply into these dynamics, as you would say, in a public forum.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult when people call in and they have a personal issue as personal as this one was. But certainly, as you have said, as an energy, you're looking at the energy. You see the energy and you understand it much more thoroughly than somebody who's being affected by it. So
right.
I hope that Lori will contact you.
In a situation like this, it is a general dynamic. We are not dealing with the person's higher self directly. So we are only getting a reading of that person's higher self through Lori's higher self. Does that make sense to you? We believe, but
yes.
So in those certain dynamics, and the reason for this is so that we can give the information that we give, so that we can have the perspective on the dynamic, because you can get bogged down in the details around so many different things.
And is it possible then, when you work with people individually, like Lori, for example, that you would be able to help her change this from an energetic perspective? Because we can get very lost in the story.
Yes, absolutely, because what we'll do is we will ask poignant questions. The person reveals themselves through the dynamics of the questioning and the commentation. So there's a conversation that goes on, and it is a two-way conversation.
That's good. Okay. So we have, Susan is calling about her living situation. She would like to ask you a question. Susan, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
What's your question for SOTU tonight?
Basically, I wanted to see if you saw an improvement in my living situation.
Not unless you do something about it. We see that your reality is asking you to move. Your reality is asking you to make a choice, and it's a choice that you are very reluctant to make.
Mhm.
And partly because, dear one, you are good enough,
Mhm.
That's the bottom line here, isn't it? So many of you in your world are afraid to give something up for fear of moving on because you think there will be nothing else. But in fact, so many of you are just at the forefront of your lives, and every day is an adventure. So, can we answer the question for you? Who are you going to be, Susan? Or do you have to answer that question yourself, dear one? We're sorry. but these are the dynamics, aren't they? Without getting into any sort of gory details, you are faced with a situation. How old are you, dear one, may we ask? Susan?
I'm 45.
All right. Yeah, okay. We gotcha. Well, this has been sitting on your plate for a while, hasn't it?
There's a lot on the plate.
Yeah. Kind of a tangled ball of yarn, right?
Literally, yeah. I just took up knitting. That's a good. No, seriously, I did it just a week ago.
Uh-huh. The metaphor is there, is it not?
Yeah, and the yarn keeps getting all bound up and.
Yeah.
My cat keeps playing with it.
Yeah, we hear you. So, yeah, do we see you getting the gumption to do this? Yes, we do, actually. But again, it's going to have to be your choice.
What about the finances to do it?
You see, that's always seemingly the complication. Not only do you believe that you're not enough, you believe there's not enough. You could manifest out of thin air if you believed you could. How's that for a tease?
Yeah, I'm magically healing my health issue, too. I know I was only supposed to ask one question, but I might as well throw that in.
What we like to say about disease, eh? What we like to say about disease is all disease is a manifestation of unresolved emotional dynamics. So if you resolve the underlying emotional dynamic, often what you have is a spontaneous healing.
So it's all connected, huh?
Oh, you can't avoid it. You're in a big. You chose. Each and every one of you chose to incarnate in a physical body to take a journey of growth and experience, and to hopefully gain a higher level of consciousness, a higher level of awareness, a higher level of understanding of yourself and others in a given lifetime. And maybe when you understand that, all of you, you'll stop struggling so hard against it.
Well, it sounds like you have some things to think about, Susan, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your call.
Okay. Thank you.
Not what your audience expected?
We have I'll tell you what. They never know what to expect on this show because this is how it is. So but we have a lot of callers lined up to talk to you. So I'm going to put Samantha from Massachusetts on the air. Samantha, welcome to the show.
Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Samantha. What's your question to SOTU?
Okay, so my question to SOTU is, could you possibly tell me what my journey is that I picked to be here on Earth?
Well, dear one, why would we deprive you of the adventure of discovery? That's the journey. That's the adventure, is it not? Say it again.
Could you all right, is there anything you could tell me to point me in the right direction for my journey?
Sure. Find a right livelihood. Do something that is going to assist others. Come from your heart. Be yourself. Find out who you are. Gain your, claim your divinity. Connect with the divine. Become the all-seeing, all-knowing. You know, it is possible. So we would suggest that you aim as high as possible, or here's a nice little exercise for you all. Use the power of anticipation. Would you like your future to be filled with joy?
Yes.
All right. So if you would like do you care what it looks like?
No.
Okay. So now you've got something you can work with, don't you? Okay.
Yes.
Do you use your imagination?
All the time.
All right, good. We like good imaginers. All right? Can you imagine that you're sitting out in a field, perhaps, and you're looking up at the sky, and you can kind of create a space in your mind's eye. Could you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, now, can you remember a time when you felt joy in your life?
Yes.
Fill that space with that joy. Pump it up. Get it in there. Fill it up. Fill it up. Get as much joy in there as you can. Let us know when it's full. Actually, we don't. You may work on it in your spare time if you wish. Now, what you're going to do? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to give that energy to your higher self. Do you have a relationship with your higher self?
No. Well, I don't know how to establish such a relationship.
Just ask. Just ask. Even if you don't know who your higher self is, imagine that a being is going to take that energy of joy and plant it in your not-too-distant future.
Is it just going to repeat the joy? Because I don't want another kid.
Excuse us, dear one. No, this is not that kind of joy.
Okay, good.
This is not that kind of joy. Now, please understand that working in that sort of way, it can act as an electromagnetic attractor that can draw you to it. All right? The problem is that those pieces of yourself that stand in the way, like that child, are going to come up and ask to be dealt with. If you understand that and you're willing to move through those pieces of self, dear one, you're on your way.
Okay.
So you don't have to know specifically what it's going to look like, but it might be good to know how it will feel.
Okay, so just the feeling of joy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, not the joy of having a child. Which is sometimes a joy and sometimes not so much.
We hear the joyful bundle in the background, so.
Yes.
Well, Samantha, thank you so much for your call. It sounds like SOTU has given you a few things to think about and a nice exercise to do.
Yeah, I'll work on that when this bundle of joy is sleeping.
That's terrific. Well, thanks again for your call.
Thank you.
Right.
All right. We have Stephen in Massachusetts. We're going to bring him on the line. And Stephen has a question about chakra colors and their meaning. Hi, Stephen. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having me. So I heard you talk once, and you did a wonderful description of bringing the energy through the chakras and what color they were and what it meant, and I forgot.
Well,
and you said don't write it down, you'll remember. You
lied. Should we be wearing a muumuu for you?
That's right, you should be.
We know who this person is.
Uh-huh.
So, all right, Stephen, crown chakra, either white or violet. All right, and it is the dynamic, the beliefs and judgments held. How much time do we have, Patricia?
We have a little bit of time, but I also want to mention that you did a great job talking about the chakras and their colors in your book, What Could God Be Thinking? So
Yes, and this is what we would have to describe, and Stephen, dear one, we can give it to you when we see you.
All right. Well,
or you can ask the channel to do it, because what we're talking here is a good 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Go to someone else then.
Well, it's a pleasure hearing your voice.
And you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for your call. And we have more questions that are coming into the chat room. One of them is, how do I know if I'm an old soul? That's what they're asking.
Well, from our perspective, all souls are the same age.
Oh, really?
Yes, all energy, all the dynamic of the energy entered through the Sirius vortex at the same time and created the physical universe. The energy has been morphing and changing ever since. But from our perspective, there is all souls are the same age. Now, that's not to say all souls have the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to understand that each of you has chosen your different lifetimes for your own different reasons, for your own levels of awareness and consciousness. And we would suggest to you that don't concentrate so much on your soul's age as what your soul happens to be saying to you on a daily basis. Because please do understand that each of you are speaking with your soul on a daily basis, whether you recognize it or not.
Sounds like a very important conversation to have daily.
Yeah, and that's part of what we try to teach is the dynamic of reading those reflections. Because your soul speaks to you in metaphor, in symbol, in snatches of conversation heard on the radio, with a conversation overheard, with the first thing you see on TV when you turn it on, all of those little things that you think, oh, that's a coincidence. Well, there are no coincidences. All these supposed coincidences are really your soul trying to get your attention.
So
and
any
your soul
of these
will
cryptic
eventually.
messages,
Say it again.
any of these cryptic messages could be a message or a conversation that's starting from our soul.
That's it. And the minute when you start to recognize it, your soul will start to speaking with you more directly.
That's powerful.
It's also true.
Now, here's another question. We've got so many really great questions here. Somebody's asking a question about new souls. So are we all just created and at the same time, or does creation make new souls? That's the question. They want to know if new souls are created.
You know, what souls are we talking about? Are we talking about human souls? Are we talking about animal souls? Are we talking about alien souls? Are we talking about...
I think they're talking about human souls.
All right. Well, in the dynamic of strictly human souls, again, from our perspective, all the souls are what we would consider the same age, but have not necessarily had Earth experiences. And so in the dynamic of earthly humanity, you may be a real newbie And so that dynamic does happen. But again, there is that, you know, you may decide to be a Pleiadian next time around.
So we don't have to stick with an earthbound experience.
No,
every time.
you will do it repetitively for a while, but only for a while.
Mhm. Okay.
That's why so many of you.
Go ahead.
That is why so many of you feel like you don't really belong here, because it's only your first or second incarnation here.
Oh, okay. So we might be newbies on the planet.
Correct. Newbies within the dynamic of earthly humanity and the consciousness thereof.
That's a challenge.
It's more fun than you think it is.
Probably. So we have another caller on the line who has a question for you. This is Debbie in Massachusetts, and let's see if I can get Debbie on. Hi, Debbie. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. And hello to everyone. My question is, how do I get the sort of like sense or where my path is, or sort of like a sense of adventure back?
Move beyond your fear?
Yep.
That's the simple answer, isn't it? So, this fear, did this happen from an accident?
I don't know if I'm afraid.
Where you hurt yourself?
No.
Where do you think it came from?
I don't know.
Why did you ever have a sense of adventure?
I think maybe when I was a lot younger.
Oh, well then, dear one, you just spoke to us as if you had a sense of adventure and you lost it. It's a very different dynamic. You know, you all have a certain dynamic of a sense of adventure when you're children. But as you move through adolescence and you move into adulthood, you know, many of you become, quite timid. And that is a result mostly of your environment. Because so many things in your environment are telling you that you have no power, that you cannot trust yourself, that you cannot trust anyone else, that, you know, we can go on and on with the whole dynamic of negative beliefs that exists in your world right now. And we would suggest to you that if you had a certain dynamic of a sense of adventure right now, you might be a little foolhardy. Because, in fact, it's not really safe to stick your neck out right now. So, what kind of adventure are you looking for?
Just not, going off, with that. Just to sort of like see adventure in everyday life, or, something.
Oh, well, understand then, if you wish to get excited, understand that you're on a spiritual journey. And that as you explore the dynamics of your spiritual journey and just, if you set your intent, intent is a very powerful thing. It is my intent to discover my spirituality. The universe will give you the opportunity. Now, the question ultimately is going to be that when that opportunity comes up, are you going to have the courage to make the step?
I hope so.
And that's where the real adventure lies.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This was helpful.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your call.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, you too.
And you as well. Don't eat too much turkey. And no one or nothing, may we say? No one or nothing lives and dies by accident, and it is the most spiritual thing a creature can do as to incarnate as a food source for another creature.
Really? So it's okay if you're not a vegetarian?
That's pretty much what we're saying.
I feel so absolved.
We had to throw it out there,
Well, it is a question for people who value life, and should we be eating other creatures? It just does, in some ways, it doesn't feel proper or right to some people. Other people, it doesn't bother, but it is a question at times. So it's interesting to hear this response from you.
Well, it's not the way that it's not the consuming of them, because when you consume a being, it becomes a part of your consciousness. It's more along the lines of how was this being raised? What type of farming was done? What type of was the being raised on compassionate and understanding terms, with the gratitude that goes along with the dynamic of understanding that this being incarnated in this form is being of service in the most tangible and laudable way?
Yeah, that's interesting. All right.
Well, so many people make the mistake and think that the divine is not conscious. That's what consciousness is, isn't it? It's an awareness. It's the way. So, the divine is, as we said, the divine is speaking with you every day. All you have to do is start looking for it, and it will make its presence known.
Well, that's great. Great advice. And now we have another caller for you. And this is Becky from Texas, who would like to know about which chakra she has that is blocked. Hi, Becky. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
So you have a question about a blocked chakra.
Well, yes. I have felt like I communicate with the angelic and the crystal kingdom, but when I'm communicating with them, I get this like a door slam shut, and I feel blocked. And I feel like it's probably a fear thing, but I don't know how to break through it.
This is third eye chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear us, Becky?
Yes.
Yes. So this is clearly third eye chakra. And what we see, yes. We got it. The blockage is old beliefs and judgments about your worthiness to connect with your divinity. Does that make any sense to you, dear one?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a spiritual term. This is crap you learned when you were a kid.
Right.
Okay? All the dark stuff. That's the fear. That's the deep dark fear. And when you're dealing with the angelic realms, you're dealing with very much an energy of the light and light shadow. And so there is a normal, again, there's that, it's a, polarized is not the right word, but it is a certain dynamic of energy in dealing with the angelic realms that requires a certain, what shall we say, belief in the dark as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's that dynamic of the belief in the dark and your belief in your not being good enough. But we're here to tell you are, and there really is nothing to be afraid of. And so if you just kind of take a walk with your higher self into your third eye chakra, we'll think that the boogeyman that's down at the bottom of it is not going to be nearly as scary as you think.
Do you think I'll break through it?
Yes.
Do you think I'll... Okay.
But you have to keep trying. You have to keep trying. Again, you're talking about a dynamic of resistance that has come from generations of fear.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't your fear. We think this belonged to your mother, actually. Or, it's the nearest connection we can see. Right. And again, that we had the question earlier about the dynamics of an incarnation. Well, that's a dynamic you gain. As soon as you incarnate in the dynamic of mother, you connect with her nervous system. You're instantly imprinted with all her fears, all of her beliefs, all of her judgments, all of her beliefs about men, all of her beliefs about self, And there's a defensive mechanism that's called the subconscious that comes in and goes, ah! It's not safe to love.
Yeah.
And so many of you spend the whole rest of your life trying to learn how to love. But that's that whole dynamic of that that imprinting that happens at that earliest time. Pre-life, you make a decision on what you wish to accomplish. Pre-life, with your higher self, with your soul, with a number of your other allies.
Mm-hmm.
You go ahead and you take a look at that life and you say, wow, I really want to learn about love in this lifetime. Okay, and so if you really wish to learn about love, are you going to give yourself loving parents?
No, probably
no, you're not. You're going to give yourself exactly the opposite. Exactly correct, dear one. That is absolutely correct. You're going to give yourself a dynamic where that love is snatched away early on, and you will spend the rest of your adult life trying to learn how to love. And eventually you'll do it. And it will mean so much more. The unfortunate part is so many of you give yourself mountains to climb when a hill would do. But again, that there's that exuberance of being in between a lifetime.
So does that help, Becky?
Yeah, it does. Well, I thank you so much for your time.
You're quite welcome.
Okay. Thanks
you, Patricia. So much, Becky, for your call.
Okay.
We hope that this is palatable for your audience, because we're dealing with some very specific dynamics here, and we're only able to touch on something many of these things have so much more depth.
Oh, certainly, but it is helpful, the things that you're offering. And again, what I keep sensing and seeing, and I know, Helene, you must be too, is this enormous energy that the channel is bringing through. And, this is huge. I mean, I'm a little distracted because I'm feeling this pressure overhead, and it's like this big cloud that's moving and moving and moving, but it's filled with these beings that you channel. Fascinating.
Yes, dear one. Yes, and the dynamics of these things. Often when we talk with people that are very sensitive, we have to ask them to stay in their bodies, because they tend to float out through their crown chakra.
Oh, I can see why. Now, when you're talking to this last caller, Becky, it reminded me of a question I asked of the channel when we first got onto the air. And the question that I'm going to ask you is this. There are emotions that get trapped when we are pre-verbal, when we are in the womb or before we have words. Accessing those emotions and those emotional patterns, more importantly, to release them is quite a challenge. I was wondering if you have any suggestions on that.
Well, it's not always an easy task, because you have never been taught how it actually works. We spoke about the dynamic of in between a lifetime, you're going to make certain choices as far as what you wish to accomplish in this upcoming lifetime. And you do it with an innocence and an energy, a verve that it's sparkling. It sparkles with energy. That's about the only way that we can describe it. It is a dynamic of you're so hopeful, you're so wishing to expand your consciousness, you're so wishing to learn these things that you wish to learn that you perhaps didn't learn in other lifetimes, and you're really excited, and you see the womb or you see the infant, because some people enter the body, especially during a dynamic of a hard delivery, after delivery. So a lot of times the soul will enter the body afterwards in order to avoid the dynamic of the trauma of birth. It depends on the situation. There are so many variables in this dynamic. But understand that here you are, you're standing on the edge of this, almost this precipice, looking at this fetus that is going to become you, and you're going to really learn about love in this lifetime, and you're really ready, and you're really excited, and your higher self is behind you, and they're all egging you on, and you dive off the edge, and you enter the body, and you completely forget it all.
And there you are.
Except for that feeling of being one with all. Okay? So here is this consciousness that is now, and we're going to use a fetus as an example because it's the easiest, who has just entered this fetus and is, completely innocent, perhaps for the only time in a lifetime. And consciousness would reach out and realize that you're floating in a sea of amniotic fluid and nurture and warmth and get a positive reinforcement. And then perhaps consciousness would reach out again and find the limits of the placenta where the blood and life energy comes from, and again a positive reinforcement, and then energy follows the umbilical up, and all of a sudden then connects with the nervous system of the mother, as we said earlier, with all of her beliefs and all of her judgments and all of her beliefs about self and all of her fears. And in that instant, that's where the programming comes from. That's where the dynamic that you are speaking of comes from. Now, that's only the identification part. The infant has no spoken language, so the subconscious is the piece of self that comes up and creates the belief that it's not safe to love, because a child could die, an infant could die of a broken heart if this mechanism was not in place. Okay, please understand that. Okay, that's the mechanism you're trying to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, subconscious does not speak a spoken language. Okay, it only understands emotion, metaphor, and symbol.
Exactly.
So we're going to give you the second exercise of the evening. Okay, and this exercise is one that says the next time you have that feeling, identify where in your body you hold it. Okay? After you identify where in your body you hold it, see it as a cut, a gash, a slash. Then imagine that higher self is standing behind you and will hand you golden threads of energy that you will use to sew up the wound. Pay attention to the images that come through your mind. Pay attention to the dynamics, but don't hold on to any of them at all. When you are done with that, you can either move on or you can have your higher self pass their hand over the stitching and have it heal completely. And then go about your day and look for the "Are you sure?" Because your reality within 1 to 24 hours after you do this dynamic of healing is going to give you an opportunity to feel that old thing again. Why, you might ask? Because it's just because it's just like a computer. Okay? If you are taking an old program out of a computer, how do you take the program out? You highlight it and you hit the delete button. What's the first thing the computer asks you?
Are you sure you want to delete this?
Exactly. So what other way does your subconscious have to know if you really wish to get rid of it, other than give you the opportunity to feel it one more time, but this time you deal with it differently? That begins the incremental change. At a certain point, you get to the point where that dynamic is not in existence any longer.
Well, I really like that exercise. That's, I think, a wonderful visual, and also will bring up a lot of old patterns and feelings that you can cleanse. That's a great idea it's a great way to walk through that pre-verbally. I love it.
Right.
Excellent.
It's the way to empower yourself in the dynamics. It's the way to say, yes, I am a divine spiritual being. I now understand the journey that I'm on, and I don't want to keep playing this repetitive dynamic that I have played my whole adult life. So I would like to change that. Okay, what am I really afraid of? Well, you're probably afraid of, having real love in your life. Love freely given and received in every moment. Love that requires no other person.
Yes, it sounds alien. Well, my goodness, we still have lots of people lined up here and lots of questions, but let me ask you one more question here. This person has written in, if you don't remember what your purpose is, how can your higher self help you remember, and how?
Sure, trust. Well, again, why not just meet up with again, it's the whole dynamic of operating within the dynamics of your imagination. All right? So imagine, one of the things that we would suggest is that each of you in your inner journeys, because we would suggest that you begin to journey on the inner realms, create a safe place for yourself. Create a place in nature that feels good, someplace that, you maybe always go, or someplace with a brook, or someplace that really brings you a dynamic of peace. Then allow yourself to go sit in that place for a few minutes, and then at a certain point, imagine that you see a figure walking in toward you. And as that figure walks in toward you, know that it is your higher self, because the only one that can come into your safe place uninvited is your higher self. Aha.
Nice.
So, then meet them. Get up. Give them a hug. Ask them what their name is. And trust that the name that you get is going to be the right one, no matter how many times you second-guess yourself. There's
another wonderful exercise. That's
there's
great.
The beginning of your establishment of a relationship with your higher self, and you can take that as far as you wish.
Wonderful.
And higher self will always allow you to transcend, to transverse the inner realm safely, because your higher self always has your best interest at heart. So until you're used to operating within those territories, we often will suggest that you take your higher self with you.
It's got your back, that's for sure.
Yep, pretty much.
That's excellent. Thank you for that wonderful answer. Helene, do you have any other questions?
I had a question about your opinion of how successful you think the angelic realm has been in connecting with humanity.
Oh, I like that question. It's a good one.
Well, they're not going to like the answer. They're too hierarchical for this, what shall we say, this dynamic of humanity, this stage of humanity. And
I understand that answer, actually. Yeah.
And we thought you might. And in fact, they
the angelic realm, in my opinion, dealing with them for so many years, they sort of have an agenda of their own. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Or not? Okay, thank you.
We're trying to be kinder than that. But we could have easily said, well, they have an agenda that's not completely in line with yours.
Right.
and,
but you didn't say that, did you?
No, we didn't. Because we didn't want to piss them off too much, because they can't get at us. But,
I know. I know. But do you think...
And they know us. No, you have to
do you think it's beneficial to interact with the angelic realm?
At times. If you understand that they have an agenda.
Yeah, I understand. I do. Yeah. Do you think their agenda is at least 50% to help humanity?
35.
Okay. Thank you.
Because we were going to give you a percentage right at the first part of the answer. Because you asked us, we were going to go, 35. 35%.
Yeah, I understand.
So, yeah, but that's their purpose. They can only assist you so much.
Right.
And they're generally pissed off. So
well, that's true.
That's a spiritual term, also.
What kind of bad neighbors, aren't we? I mean,
only because you have been manipulated. Well, let us put it. Let us give you more responsibility. This is only because you have allowed yourself to be so manipulated. You have allowed yourself to be so programmed. You have allowed yourself. You either create your reality or you allow it. And so, if you leave your reality creation up to others, look what you'll get.
Yeah.
But the problem is that reality is trying to teach you that you're no good, that you're not powerful, that you need them, that you have to have them, that you are not a creator, that you're not divine, that you have to earn your divinity, that you have to be perfect, that you cannot have any shame. Again, we can go on.
Yeah.
And all of that is bullshit. Sorry. We're on the radio, aren't we?
You can say that here.
Well, we think we said that when we were speaking to Sydney one time, and they had to bleep us out.
We're a little more laid back here, so.
That's good. Well, we are very happy that you have so many callers.
Yes, a lot of people interested in asking you questions and listening to what you have to say. It's been a very interesting show tonight, and unfortunately we're coming to the end of it, and it feels like this show just got started like 5 minutes ago. I can tell you that it feels like we've been in a completely unusual time stream with
out of time and space, dear one.
That's right. That's what it's been. It's been great. So let's see, should we say good night to you and thank you so much and ask for Josh and Adrienne to come back on?
Certainly. Adrienne is here, and give us about 30 seconds and we'll allow the channel to come back.
Thank you again.
It has been our pleasure working with you all this evening, and so until the next time we close, sending you peace, sending you happiness, sending you joy.
Thank you. So, Adrienne, you are still with us.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on the air tonight and sharing with us this amazing experience. This has been really terrific.
Well, you're welcome. Well, let's do it again sometime. We're
going to have to.
It is a deep pleasure to be able to do this with you. Thank you.
Well,
I'm
you're
back.
So welcome, and this has just been extraordinary. The energy, I think, Helene, is going to stay with us for some time, don't you think?
Yeah.
Helene, I can tell you're still
Helene,
in the stream.
Helene, tap on your crown chakra.
Pardon?
Tap on your crown chakra. Tap on your third eye chakra. Help you to ground.
Well, I tend to tune out because otherwise they'll start talking, and then I can't deal with it. So.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That worked out well for you?
Thank you. Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't really have any memory of the whole thing, so so I'll have to listen to the show. I'll have to listen to the archive.
Well, absolutely. Feel free to do that, and thank you for hosting SOTU for us this evening, and both of you for taking your time. I know we asked you to stay up way past your normal bedtime, so thank you for that.
I drank coffee.
We made coffee.
Oh.
We go to sleep with the chickens, but this kept us well awake.
Oh, goodness. Well, you guys were just so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed through this whole show, and thank you again so much. And we've already thanked SOTU, but I want to thank both Helene and I want to thank you guys for making this possible this evening. It's just been extraordinary on so many levels, and we do want to have you back again. And I know more people are going to want to be asking you questions and getting great answers.
Can I mention that we do have a blog that people can write in questions on the Peace Genesis Project site?
Yes, give your website again, too. Yeah.
PeaceGenesisProject.org.
Okay.
And,
I'm just typing that in for the chat room people.
Yep, and there's a blog tab there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're not very technologically advanced, so, it's like...
but you do check email and things like that?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Can
we check email, and any readings are done over the phone, and they're recorded, and we send you a CD of the reading, so just as an informational thing.
Why don't you give your email address again?
It's EJA Magic, MAGIC, at Berkshire.net. And that's
perfect.
ERKSHIRE.
It's been a fantastic evening, hasn't it?
It has been. I hate to end it, but we gotta have to. So.
Well, I can keep going if you want. I'll bring SOTU back.
Yeah. We may have to book you in for 2 hours next time. My goodness. Well, thank you both. Adrienne, Josh,
you're welcome.
SOTU, thank you so much, and please have sweet dreams tonight so you can get up with the chickens in the morning.
Our pleasure.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, that was
a great
something.
show, huh? Wasn't that fun?
It was something. A big
I know,
something.
We're going to have to talk about this energy later. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So, again, next week we will be baking and preparing for our Thanksgiving meals, but we are going to run one of our past shows, so just feel free to tune in, same time, same station. And then the following week we're going to have a new guest for you. So we're going into more, again, of the spiritual realm into November, December, and January. We have some terrific guests lined up, more terrific guests. So keep tuning in every Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, and good night, Patricia.
Good night, Helene.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with